Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Body Mind Healing. My name is Maria Sanchez. I'm a holistic health consultant, a family nurse practitioner, a psychiatry mental health nurse practitioner, and a doctor of nursing practice. The case for today is, does anxiety and depression happen in the brain? Modern psychiatry often speaks about anxiety and depression as if they live only in the brain. It describes neurotransmitters, stress hormones, neural pathways, fear circuits, sleep disruption, inflammation, trauma responses, and nervous system dysregulation. These are real. The brain participates in every emotional state we experience. It translates the stress into thought, sensation, memory, fear, fatigue, pain, vigilance, despair, and mood. In that sense, anxiety and depression are undeniably reflected in the brain. But reflection is not the same as origin. From a deeper spiritual perspective, anxiety and depression are not merely chemical events. They are emotional and energetic states that move through the whole person. The brain is the receiver, interpreter, and messenger, but it is not always the birthplace of the wound. Many people are treated as though their suffering begins and ends in biology, when often the deeper body is carrying fear, grief, abandonment, shame, unprocessed trauma, spiritual disconnection, ancestral pain, or years of living against the truth of the soul. This is where the medical model becomes incomplete. The wound might reside in the mental body, the emotional body, the energetic body, or the soul's memory, but the brain gives that wound meaning. The brain translates the unseen into thought. It gives language to fear. It attaches images, memories, beliefs, interpretations, and predictions to emotional pain. It might say, I'm not safe, I'm alone, something bad will happen, I'm not enough, there is no hope. In this way, the brain does not always create the original wound, but it organizes the experience of the wound into a story the person can feel, think, and live through. When the mental or emotional energetic bodies become overwhelmed, or when the soul decides it is time for something buried to be healed, life begins to bring the wound forward, to the surface. That is how circumstances arise to activate what has been hidden. Relationships, losses, transitions, illness, conflict, silence, rejection, or uncertainty might become the doorway through which old pain returns to consciousness. What appears on the surface as anxiety or depression, it is actually the deeper self saying, this is ready to be seen now. And because human beings are embodied souls, these wounds do not rise only as thoughts. They rise somatically. They become tightness in the chest, heaviness in the body, pressure in the throat, trembling, exhaustion, panic, numbness, insomnia, digestive distress, pain, collapse, or an inability to feel joy. The body becomes the messenger for what the conscious mind has not yet been able to name. The symptom is not meaningless. It is a signal. It is the visible edge of an invisible wound. Medication can sometimes soften the intensity of symptoms. It can reduce panic, lift mood enough for a person to function, quiet intrusive thoughts, improve sleep, or create enough stability for deeper healing to begin. For some people, that support is meaningful and even life-saving. But medication does not automatically reach the wound beneath the symptom. It does not rewrite the story of abandonment. It does not teach the nervous system that it is safe. It does not release grief from the emotional body. It does not restore the soul's relationship with itself. It does not transform fear into trust, shame into compassion, or survival into wholeness. This is one reason why people do not heal through medication alone. They are given treatment for the brain while the deeper injury remains untouched in the mental, emotional, energetic, and spiritual bodies. The mind continues repeating old beliefs. The emotional body continues carrying old pain. The spirit continues longing for meaning, safety, truth, and reconnection. The person may appear treated, but inside, something remains unintegrated. Anxiety, spiritually understood, is often the vibration of fear moving through the system. It can arise when the inner self does not feel safe, when the body remembers danger, when the soul feels separated from trust, or when a person has lived long enough in hypervigilance. Depression, spiritually understood, is not simply sadness. It can be the heaviness of unexpressed grief, the collapse that comes after prolonged survival, the pain of disconnection from one's essence, or the exhaustion of carrying a life that no longer feels aligned. Psychiatry can name the patterns. Spiritual healing helps us listen to what those patterns are asking us to see. True healing begins when a person stops asking only, "What is wrong with me?" and begins asking, "What part of me is still wounded? What grief have I buried? What truth have I silenced? What fear have I inherited? What part of my spirit has been waiting for me to return?" This does not mean the brain is irrelevant. It means the brain is part of a larger sacred system. Human beings are not machines with defective chemistry. We are layered beings: biological, psychological, emotional, energetic, relational, and spiritual. When anxiety and depression are reduced only to brain chemistry, the soul disappears from the conversation. But when we understand them as signals moving through the whole person, healing becomes wider, deeper, and more compassionate. People heal when they receive support not only to manage physical and psychiatric symptoms, but also to face the wound hidden beneath those symptoms, the wound that remains buried in deeper layers of the self. They heal when they dare to be honest with themselves, to work through grief, to forgive, to repair the nervous system, to practice self-compassion, to integrate trauma, to do shadow work, to heal energetically, to restore boundaries, and to reconnect with the higher self or the sacred intelligence within. They heal when the emotional body is allowed to speak. They heal when the mental body releases beliefs that were never truly theirs. They heal when the spirit is no longer exiled from the treatment plan. They heal when they consciously choose to transcend duality. They heal when they understand, accept, and finally release the burdens of the past and the wounds that have remained lodged in their emotional, mental, and spiritual field. Anxiety and depression manifest in the brain, but they do not begin there. The trauma or wound lives in deeper levels of the self. While the brain gives it language, story, memory, and interpretation, the body reveals it through sensation. The soul summons it through circumstance, and healing begins when we stop silencing the symptoms long enough to ask ourselves which part of our whole being is finally asking to be heard. If you would like to explore the topics I discuss on my channel, you can find more information in my book, Through the Storm by Maria Piedad, DMP, available on Amazon. If you enjoyed the video, please like it, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.